Monster Hunter Sunbreak is almost here. Are you ready yet? I kind of am. I'm going to show you how ready I am in a second. It's a massive new expansion for Monster Hunter Rise, bringing with it lots of stuff, not least of which is new playstyles with new weapon skills, so I wanted to make a few equipment sets, builds specifically made to take advantage of Sunbreak's new toys. For the Hunting Horn, the use case for the Silkbind moves is less hungry than some other new playstyles and combos for other weapons will be in Sunbreak, so we're not worried about fitting in Wirebug Whisperer on this one. Instead, a reasonably standard kit out for skills that will be useful in a more broader sense, without relying on the weapon's own specific skills or slots. To this end, I've set it up here with the Rampage Horn, easy to swap out with whatever new fun times Sunbreak presents in Hunting Horns. For the armor skills, maxed attack boost, level 3 critical eye for some critical hit chance boosting, critical boost maxed out to take full advantage of that, and weakness exploit maxed out so on a CC'd monster you can really hammer home some damage. Stun resistance maxed out to minimize downtime, and being a slow weapon with a lot of animation commitment, it's not unordinary to stack up a little stun, especially while learning a new monster, as we all will be in Sunbreak. Speed sharpening level 3 because sharpness management with the new weapons and new harder faster monsters will be pretty important. Earplugs level 2, that one's kind of just a freebie I got with my talisman, but very nice to have nonetheless. Horn Maestro of course, 100% necessary for anything Hunting Horn build wise. Flinch free of course because multiplayer is a nightmare otherwise, and 1 level of Dragonheart tagging along just for the ride as a freebie on the arms. From head to toe it runs Kaiser Crown, Vake Mail S, Valstrax Braces, Anjanath Coil S, and Hunter's Greaves, deco slotted in as you saw as we went. It should, in theory, serve pretty well at least to open into Sunbreak with, and based on the demo, I'll absolutely be wanting to give it a go because Hunting Horn is always fun, and in Sunbreak it just gets more fun. That's not a word, you know what I mean. Going into Sunbreak with the Charge Blade, I was strongly interested in maxing out skills that will let me go combo heavy with the fancy new switch skills and Silkbind, so Wirebug Whisperer at level 3 was top priority to get faster Wirebug recharge rates. Next was Load Shells of course for the fastest and easiest file charging. Next was Speed Sharpening, as almost certainly, especially early on, any new purple sharpness we get on the new weapons will be, well, it'll be slight, and maintaining it will be high priority. Maxed out attack boost is always nice. We even get some comfort in 3 levels of defense boost. Happy to swap that out with something else that's all slotted in, but for a weapon with a shield, it's nice to have. Divine Blessing is another comfort skill. That one's just here because I got lucky on a talisman. 2 levels of critical eye for 10% affinity boost, 2 levels of guard up to half the chip damage shield blocks absorb. There's room enough for 2 levels of flinch free for easier combo chaining, and a freebie dragon attack tagging along on my talisman. Not all that useful, but hey, whatevs. I've set it up to go in with Scream in the Night as the weapon. My usual Charge Blade set is built around green sharpness, dulling strike and bludgeoner and such, and on a weapon with more base damage than this has, but something tells me that it won't work very well on master rank monsters, so I'm gonna have to wean myself off that green sharpness hook. Decos slotted in top to bottom as we go. Basurius Helm S, Vake Mail S, Rathalos Braces S, Anjanath Coil S, and Ingot Greaves. This set does lag behind my usual bludgeoner based set on DPS and whatnot, but it'll still serve better going into Sunbreak, and it will let me start plugging high usage of the switch skills and scroll swapping Silkbinds into my muscle memory early on, as well as get me back into the habit of proper sharpness management with my Charge Blade, because bludgeoner builds make you pretty lazy on that score, let me tell you that much. Oh man, are you ready for some Insect Glaive fun times? Because I am. The Insect Glaive is getting some fun moves and upgrades in Sunbreak, but interestingly enough, they're not cored around needing to spam the Silkbind moves, so in this set, Wirebug Whisperer 3 isn't my prime motivator. Instead, I went looking for a more generalized set built around weapon management, damage boosting, and mobility kicks. So, Attack Boost 7, Crit Eye 3, Crit Boost 3, and Weakness Exploit 3 all stacking up together to kick up the DPS output of melee attacks. I've got some poison attacks slotted in there as well, as I'm using a poison glaive and a poison kinsect, but as these are slotted in and not armor inherent skills, they are super easy to switch out as the need arises and as we move through the weapons. Stun resistance 3, not a huge priority on Insect Glaive, as hopefully you're taking advantage of your hyper mobility well enough to avoid stacking up any hits that proc stun in the first place, but level 2 came free on the talisman I have, so I slotted in the extra slot for a complete stun immunity. Why not? Speed sharpening to minimize downtime and maximize DPS. Evade extended to make sure we can get into and out of danger zones really effectively. Something the insect glaive is already pretty good at, so getting even better at it is even betterer. A little master's touch to help with sharpness management. Only room for one level, but it is nice all the same. And of course, flinch free. The glaive I have with the set going in is the Hazy Caster, teamed with the Poison Paralysis Powder Insect. Mainly as one of the new most powerful moves in Sunbreak for the insect glaive revolves around generating and using powder clouds. So while I usually run with an assist type insect, now is the time to learn all about how to manage powder type insects much better. Top down set with the deco slotted in as you see. Hazy Caster, Kaiser Crown, Vake Mail S, Rathalos Braces S, Anjanath Coil S, and Hunter's Greaves S. Very much looking forward to taking Insect Glaive for a spin in Sunbreak. Get it? Get it, spin. Ah. When it comes to big bonk time, my go-to is usually the Hunting Horn, or even a stun-specific shield bash build for the Sword and Shield. But the Sunbreak demo did provide some very fun hammer time testing, so getting a build Sunbreak ready for it seemed like a pretty good idea. Predictably enough, we start by maxing out Attack, 5 levels of Critical Eye, maxed Critical Boost, and Weakness Exploit maxed out, all to chop out that damage like a good hammer set should. Speed sharpening slots in easily, so that's a no-brainer, as antithetical as it sounds to have a sharp hammer. This is just how Monster rolls, we all know it, we just have to accept it. The sound you hear is my eyes twitching. Bug Whisperer level 3 comes on a single talisman for me here, which is real damn nice. Punishing Draw comes with it too, which is next to useless for hammer, but whatever, talisman RNG, you work with what you get. Flinch free level 2, if you want 3, which is real nice on a hammer, then I'd suggest dropping 1 speed sharpening, and of course we get a joyriding dragon hunt on the gloves. Top down, Rednaught as usual, designed to be replaced when Sunbreak brings us new options, but I really like this hammer. Tons of white sharpness, it's nice. Kaiser Crown, Vake Mail S, Valstrax Braces, Anjanath Coil S, Ingot Greaves all slotted up as you saw. Now much like my Dual Blades build, I don't know if I'll pull this into rotation much, but it seemed like a real nice idea to have it sitting ready, just in case Sunbreak gave us something really tasty for the hammer. Great sword now, and oh my gosh, I am a fan of impractically massive swords in video games, and they just don't get better than Great Sword in Monster Hunter, do they? And it is getting some nice new moveset options in Sunbreak, and like most of the playstyle upgrades, this one too relies on some new wirebug moves. So, let's get a Great Sword set ready with the unusual skill for such a set, Wirebug Whisperer. Something that's usually quite some way down on the list of priorities for a Great Sword set. In my case, I got some luck on a talisman. 2 levels come with that. The third takes up one of the two slot decos here. The rest reads Attack Boost 7, naturally, Crit Eye 3, Weakness Exploit 3, Focus level 3, an essential skill for Greatsword. We got Stun Resistance 3, another vital one on a Greatsword set, Flinch Free level 3, Punishing Door is pointless on a Greatsword, but it is a freebie with the talisman I'm using. And finally, Marathon Runner, which is of limited utility in a Greatsword build, but it's an armor freebie that comes with the focus we so dearly need, so whatevs. Top down, the sword is largely irrelevant here, it's designed to be swapped out, but I've gone with the abominable, one of my favourite great swords, the Kaiser Crown, Anjanath Mail S, Rathalos Braces S, Anjanath Coil S, and Hunter's Greaves, deco slotted in as you see. Now personally, my skill level with the greatsword is moderate. I'm of moderate use with a greatsword in my hands. But it's hard to deny that when you do get to bust out a full rage combo and see those massive numbers all burst on the monster's face, it is a very, very satisfying weapon to use, and with Sunbreak giving us a whole new way to leap right into full stage 3 charge slash, well, obviously I wanted to be ready for it, but now I think I am. Now, dual blades aren't my usual thing in Monster Hunter, but the new Spinning Wolverine Drill Claw Silkbind skill is crazy fun to spam based on the demo experience, so I built a Sunbreak ready set for these too. Once more, focused around prioritizing Wirebug Whisperer for maximum cheese spam. Room enough here for just Attack Boost 5 this time, but Crit Eye level 5 helps pad that out a bit. Constitution level 4 for 40% reduced stamina burn is always high on the want list for dual blades especially. Speed Sharpening 3, nice on most sets, but more essential than ever before on dualies as you burn sharpness real quick on these little buggers. Crit Boost 2 and Weakness Exploit 2 for a little bonus damage. Stun Resistance 2 to help with uptime. Flinch Free level 2. You could go for an extra stun resist here instead, but dualies are so close range I find Flinch Free 2 is just a little bit more useful than total stun immunity. Evade Extender 1 is a freebie on my talisman, not at all unwelcome though for a weapon as mobile as this, and Dragon Art 1 hitchhikes along with the gloves. So we are a little away from the usual meta for dualies here, but like with most of my Sunbreak ready sets, they're more about giving some flexibility for the new weapons to be slotted in, and often maximizing wirebug use for taking advantage of the new silk binds and swap mechanics. Top down we go: Sinister, Famine Blades, Kaiser Crown, Vake Mail S, Valstrax Braces, Anjanath Coil S, Ingot Greaves, decos slotted in as you see them. And again, I don't know how much use this set will see for me, but the drill move was super fun in the demo, so I wanted something ready for it, so here we are. Oh yeah, the Switch Axe. By a long way, my most used weapon in Rise to date. Man, this thing is fun. I love it. Style points up the wazoo, and the ability to just pour on the damage when you get really good at your positioning. So, going into Sunbreak, this is another weapon where making heavy use of the new Silk Binds and Switch skills seems like a huge amount of fun, so Wirebug Whisperer becomes a much higher priority for a set than it ever has been at this point for this weapon. Other standards come along, of course. Attack Boost 7 naturally, Razor Sharp 3 paired with Speed Sharpening 3 for maximum uptime and damage output and much easier sharpness management. Nice little talisman helped me out on this one. Wirebug level 2, it's slotted in to get 3, and Punishing Draw 2, it's like it was made for Swax play. Lovely. Rapid Morph 3 naturally, another absolutely essential skill for this weapon, room enough for Crit Eye 2 as well. I like running Exhaust File axes, so a couple of levels of Stamina Thief slotted in is always nice to go with it. Evade Window 2 for a little more forgiveness in my iframes. Power Prolonger 1 doesn't help much, but it does come along with Razor Sharp on the chest, so it's a freebie. And of course, Flinch Free, so our urge to unalive longsword players is kept at a minimum in multiplayer. So this set should pair nicely with pretty much whatever new or upgraded swaxes we get in Sunbreak's opening axe: max attack boost, easy sharpness management, fastest possible wirebug recovery rate, and full rapid morph. Feels good, mate. Top to bottom of decos we have Rex Nasher, Almudron Helm S, Almudron Mail S, Almudron Vambraces S, Anjanath Coil, and Ingot Greaves S. Now all I need to do is get the hang of the timing for that new counter move Sunbreak is bringing us swaxers for maximum swax slicing swag. Sun. Almost made it with the alliteration there. So close.
My buddies.